Hello everyone, nice to see you here. I'm very glad that the room is almost full, so let's enjoy. Why do we need this whole diversity? You have heard this question a moment ago, and I'm repeating it now. Why do we need this? Why do we need this diversity? So, as I've been introduced already a little bit, so maybe let me elaborate some more. I'm currently working as a productization director. That means that I'm overseeing a team of over 200 employees, mostly engineers. And I have over 18 years of experience in IT. You might now ask, why am I providing this speech to you? Why do I care about diversity? Because I think this is important, and I think the diversity brings benefits. And throughout the course of this presentation, I would like to explain you what are the benefits, where they are coming from, and why diversity is needed. Here is a short agenda. The first, I will be talking about the message that we all hear all the time. Then I will tell you a little bit about the correlation between team diversity and team performance. And last but not least, I will tell you about the correlation between team diversity and company profitability. So let's start. The message. If you are working in a company, if you are working in a big company or a small company, you hear this message a lot. You hear, we need to be diverse. You hear, diversity is super important. Our teams need to be diverse. You hear diversity this, diversity that. You hear diversity all around. The one thing that you usually do not hear is why. Have you heard people preaching diversity to you in your company, why they are doing it? If you have, please raise your hand. Okay, not a lot of you. So you are hearing the word diversity, but you are not hearing explanation. The truth is, and I will try to prove it to you later on, diversity brings measurable benefits to the company. And the second thing, which is I think even more important because it is even less heard, diversity is not only about the gender. Diversity does not equal gender diversity. So what is the correlation between diversity and team performance? Have you ever wondered why some teams perform better than others? I'm sure you have met a team that is performing quite well and team working in the same industry that is performing not too good. The differentiating factor between those two teams is probably the level of collective intelligence. What is collective intelligence? If you would go to the Wikipedia and you would type in collective intelligence, there is probably a definition that you would see that collective intelligence is shared or group intelligence that emerges blah, 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 blah. But what it means in practice. Have you seen this? Are you familiar with this game show that's called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? If you are, hand up. Okay, so everyone knows it. But to maybe remind you, if you haven't seen it for a while, I will go very quickly through the rules of this game show. So there is a participant, he or she is given questions that he or she needs to answer. There are two answers to each question, and he or she needs to select the right one. If the contestant is not sure about the answer, he has two three helps that he or she can get. One is 50-50, so the computer removes two incorrect answers, leaving one correct answer and one incorrect. He or she can phone a friend, or in some cases, in some parts of the world, an expert in a given area, or he and she can ask the audience about what they think the correct answer is. And funnily enough, someone did a research. They it was not a scientific research, so I'm not going to quote any statistics here, like what was the group that was tested, etc., etc. But it's interesting fact that they checked how many times throughout the course of this show expert was right, or the friend was right about the question, and how many times the crowd could provide a proper answer. And the results are very interesting. Expert was right in 65% of the cases, and the crowd was right in 91% of cases. As I said, this is not a scientific research, so there might be other factors to that, but this is an interesting example of how collective intelligence works. Another interesting example of how collective intelligence works is Google PageRank algorithm. If you remember, when Google was founded, one of the main algorithms it was based on was this PageRank that worked in a way that it positioned the web pages in a search results based on the number of links that were pointing to a given web page. So Google PageRank algorithm was using collective intelligence of all the content creators in the world to find out which site is the best and most relevant. So collective intelligence, intelligence emerging from the knowledge and experience of many people. But you can ask here, okay, we have one expert versus a huge number of people, so maybe this is just a quantity thing. So we take one person and 5 people, so 5 people know more, so it is just a quantity. But if we would come back a few minutes, you remember I told you that you know teams that are performing in a different way, even though they have the same size. So no, this is not just a quantity thing. So if we want to check how collective intelligence correlates with diversity, we first need to find a way to measure it. So how to do it? There is a way to measure single person intelligence. This is so-called the G factor. So how smart the person is. The G factor can be compared to overall body strength and overall fitness. So if you are better than average swimmer, most probably you are better than average runner because of overall body strength. Similarly, if you are very good at solving mathematical equations, you might be also good in solving, I don't know, physics tasks. The same way, you can measure group intelligence by deriving a C factor. A C factor shows what is the group's ability to perform a wide range of tasks that require, you know, creativity, thinking outside of the box. This C factor was found by a group of scientists coming from MIT and Carnegie Mellon University, and it was studied carefully. It was studied carefully on a big group of people that were divided in smaller teams, like 5, 10, 2, and they were given tasks. They were given tasks that required them to think, that required them to use their brains, like solving a puzzle, solving a task. And throughout the course of this research, the team decided that they will check the differences between those two teams, or whatever number the teams that they were checking, in the areas that are presented here on the slides. So average intelligence of the group members, intelligence of the highest scoring team member, equal distribution of speaking turns, average social sensitivity, and last but not least, diversity. Again, throughout the course of the research, they have found out a very interesting thing. Only the 3 last areas were statistically relevant to team performance. The first 2, you would think that the more smart the group is, right? The more the higher IQ the group has, the better they will perform. Of course, you know, we are talking about a group that have more or less the same level of intelligence. We are not talking about a group of preschoolers and professors, right? Because this that kind of research would not make sense. So what was relevant in their research? Equal number of speaking turns, average social sensitivity, and diversity. Let me go through them one by one. So equal distribution of speaking turns, what does it mean? It means that during the task that the team was performing, each and every team member had a say. They could talk, they could contribute, they could share their ideas. If 1 or 2 people overtook the whole task solving or the whole meeting, the team performance was dropping. Social sensitivity. What is social sensitivity? Social sensitivity is an ability to understand how other people in the team feel. Whether they are sad, whether they are frustrated, whether they want to say something, whether they don't want to say anything. Statistically, and again, statistically, women have higher social sensitivity. So first from the face of their team members, they can find out what they think, and they are more mindful usually towards their colleagues. I could not find a research. Why is that? Whether this is, due to upbringing or this is due to biology. But my own, I'm convinced that it's rather due to the upbringing, because little girls are usually from the very early age socialized to be mindful about their surroundings, right? To make sure that everyone is happy. So they learn to understand whether the person that they are talking to is happy or not. So with the teams that have higher social sensitivity, the performance, the time of solving the tasks, the time went down and the performance went up. And the last but not least aspect that could boost team performance and made people solve their tasks quicker was cognitive diversity. What is cognitive diversity? And I would like you to remember this term, because my mind is really important, especially when we are talking that diversity is important. Cognitive diversity is a diversity of backgrounds. This diversity is coming from different sources. It's coming from a gender, of course, but it's coming from ethnicity. It's coming from upbringing. It's coming from your background, from your education, from all the things that make you a person. Teams that have high cognitive diversity are performing better simply because they have tons of point of views. Each team member contributes with his or her own background. There is one caveat, though, to all that I'm saying here. Cognitive diversity, social sensitivity, and all that stuff, it's good when you are willing to perform creative tasks. If you need a team to think out of the box, to find a new solution, to think of something new, cool, and unique. However, if you're working on a task that requires high efficiency, cognitively diverse teams might perform a little bit worse. Why? Well, if we are very different, we might have issues with communicating, just because we are different, just because we are coming from different cultures and different things are natural to us. So you need to remember that. Creativity will boost, but the efficiency might drop. So what matters when we want to boost our creativity and we want to introduce our diversity? First, cognitive diversity, having different people within the team. And the second, a mindful leader that will ensure the proper number of speaking turns, and they will, and the leader that will also make sure that everyone in the team feels comfortable and they can contribute. Those two things will boost up your creativity. So you see, having a diverse team, we have boosted the creativity. We are coming up with new, better, faster solutions. The other aspect of why do we need this whole diversity is simply profitability. Because you know why the companies do what they do. They are not doing it because they are nice. They are not doing that because they like us, but because they want money. So the other aspect of diversity is profitability. There are many reports. There are 3 here from McKinsey that were released, I think, in 2015, then 2019, and 2020. Okay, I don't remember. It's here on the slides. Those reports are coming from a survey that was done on over 1,000 companies coming from 15 different countries. During those surveys, they were checking first what is the diversity scale within a team. They were focusing on gender and ethnical diversity because other diversities are really difficult to catch. It's hard to catch, whether someone is more introvert or extrovert or things like that. So gender and ethnicity is easier to get. So they were checking diversity within overall company, within the leadership team, and within the board of directors. As a second thing, they were checking profitability of the company. What was whether the company was more or less profitable. And all those surveys, all those research, found out that when the board of directors and the leadership team is diverse, the company has much higher probability of outperforming other companies financially, other companies from the same field. There are, of course, other reports coming from Deloitte, Harvard Business Review, and Boston Consulting Group. I will not go through them right now because I don't have that much time, but if you would be willing to, they are available. And so the reports are showing something, right? It's always interesting to check them. But what are the reasons behind what those reports delivered? Again, brick circles. You might see, I see some of you right now are a little bit surprised what I'm referring to. This is just to wake you up a little bit and to pay attention. Brick circles. Where is this coming from? What are the brick circles? There's a story about an archaeologist that uncovered an old household. And he found something that he was not able to understand what the purpose of. He was not able to understand why this in this household. And this was a brick circle, like one brick. It was not a fireplace, it was not for cooking purposes. He could not understand where it is coming from. Until one day, there was a man that was, like a helper with no education, like a simple man. And he said, "Oh, you have this chicken ring." And the archaeologist, what do you mean, the chicken ring? You know, when there is an old hen and small chickens, they are put in this ring, and they are there, and the hen can come out and come back, but the chickens are too small to cross the ring. So you can see, brick circles. A diverse perspective help to solve very difficult issue that a very well experienced and educated archaeologist could not solve. A hen. So why companies that have diverse leadership boards are more profitable? Because of increased customer satisfaction. There are people within the team that understand the customer. There are people in the team that know what the brick circle is for. And they understand each and every diverse customer that our product might have. So they will find out what the product is missing, why the usability of the product is not good enough. They will come up with some additional functionality idea. Another thing that is making companies more profitable, attracting more talents. Imagine, you have a talent pool that is consisting of, some amount of people, and you are selecting best talents out of this pool. But now, if you convince diverse talents to come to you, your pool is growing, and right now it's enormous. So you can select best of the best, just if you'll convince them to come to you. If you have best of the best talents, your profitability will increase because they are best workers. And the last but not least, diverse companies are resonating well with customers and investors. Why? Because investors know that diverse companies perform better. Investors know that having a diverse leadership, having a diverse team will boost team performance, so they are more likely to invest. So to sum it up, if you haven't listened or you fell asleep throughout my presentation, why do we need this whole diversity? Why do we want our teams to be diverse? Why I want my team to be diverse as much as possible? First, innovation. If my team is diverse, they will come up with super cool ideas. They will think outside of the box. I might struggle a little bit with managing such a complex team, but that's on me. And the second thing, profitability. Well, it's not directly connected with me, or maybe a little bit, because if the company is more profitable, I will get a bonus, right? And the bonus is big. So I also want the company to be profitable. So remember, if someone tells you that diversity is important and we need to be diverse, ask them why. And if they cannot answer, tell them, I know. Next time you will be preaching diversity, remember innovation and profitability. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ewa. Your presentation will have a lasting impact on our understanding of diversity in the teams. Now we have some few minutes to ask Ewa questions. So we need to remember that we have attendance online. So please raise your hand and we'll pass you the microphone that all our attendants today could hear us and the questions you have. So who would like to go first? Okay. I will pass you the microphone.
Ewa, if you could say how to select talented people, which factor is really playing here? Is it more like soft skills or combination of the soft skills versus technical ones? If you could elaborate a little bit this topic, please.
Good question. Thanks. So I can say what I choose, and everyone needs to decide whether this is something that you are willing to take. I want two things in people. The first, I want them to be creative, and the second thing, I want them to be motivated. You might ask why I don't want them to be super technical or super experienced or super whatever. I believe that with the proper amount of motivation and proper amount of creativity, people can achieve great things. And the technical knowledge is something that you can learn, but motivation, it's hard to get sometimes. Is it okay? Okay.
Who else? We still have some time.
Yeah, I finished a little bit early to have some interaction with you.
I have a question. How can we improve our diversity without having new employees in the team, if it's not possible?
Okay, this is a tough one. So First of all, before you think about improving diversity, make sure that you are already using the diversity you have within a team. Because I told you about the equal number of speaking turns. If you are a manager or if you are in a team, sometimes there's a case when there are one or two stars of a team, and they usually talk. And they usually overrun the whole meeting, they jeopardize it, and only their voice is heard. So first, if you are thinking about making sure that your team is diverse, make sure that you are using your full team's potential. So make sure that everyone has a say, everyone is talking, everyone is expressing their opinion, because you might already get something out of it. If you want to be your team to be more diverse and you cannot hire or expand your team, reach out to other teams. Start cooperation with some other team, invite them to a meeting. If you have if you are lucky enough to work in a multicultural company, it's pretty straightforward. You can reach out to someone from another country. You can reach someone that has another different background, like if you are a tester, reach out to developer. If you are a developer, reach out to tester. This is also diversity, tester, developer. So reach out, meet, get feedback.
Thank you. Okay, I can see someone in the back. One sec.
In a diversity team, maybe there will be more conflict. So how to manage that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good question because, yes, as I mentioned, when teams are diverse, they're usually working, thinking, and communicating in a different way. For example, if there are people coming from 2 different countries, 2 different cultures, they might communicate in a different way. There might be, for example, people that are communicating very low context, very directly, and there are people that are communicating high context, using a lot of metaphors, relying on body language to pass the message, right? So managing a team like this might be a little bit difficult. So how to do it? First, if you are working in a multicultural thing or a diverse team, make sure that you understand the differences within a team. Because if you don't, some behaviors of the team members might be seen as rude. Someone is behaving in a certain way and you think he's rude or he's malicious or he wants to jeopardize the project or whatever. So first, understand where the differences are coming from. There are many trainings on that aspect. There are trainings on different cultures and there are trainings on different personality types. So first understand and then make sure that the communication within a team is flowing. If the communication is flowing, if people are talking, if they are open, then the team should work well. Hopefully I answered the question. Anyone else?
Hi. Now we have a different situation because a lot of people work remotely. So how do you think we could use diversity in cases where a team doesn't meet or meets 1, 2, 3 times a year, or not at all because it's international team?
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one. If you are not meeting with people, if you don't see their body language or if you don't see their faces, it's sometimes difficult to understand what they feel, whether they want to contribute. So again, from my perspective and my background, if you are having a team that is not sitting together, please make sure that you are communicating. Please make sure that you are meeting regularly, even if it is online. Encourage people to at least turn on the camera. And if you are the leader or you are moderator of a meeting, make sure that nobody goes like on mute for the whole meeting. Ask questions, ask about opinion. In that way, you again will use the diversity of a team. Okay. No one else? So I will be around. So if you want to chat, I'm here. If you want to, you can find me on LinkedIn and reach out, and we can also have a small chat. And thank you.
Round of applause for Ewa. Thank you very much. And now we have